right, so you said your name's Clifford?
Clifford.
Clifford, thank you very much for doing this interview. I really appreciate it.
Okay.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, how open-minded would you say you are?
6.
6? All right, fair enough. Do you think you should look at both sides of an argument before you make a decision on something?
Yes, if time permits.
If time permits?
Yes.
All right. Do you trust your senses, like crossing the street, putting your clothes on, driving your car?
Yes.
All right. Do you trust the government?
Yes.
All right. Do you think the majority is always right?
No.
All right. How do you think everything came to be? Do you believe in like the Big Bang? Do you believe in like creationism, like God made everything, or do you not really have a belief in it?
I believe God made everything.
All right. To you, what would be your definition of science?
An explanation of things that we can measure.
All right. Would you agree with me science should be observable, measurable, testable, and repeatable? That's like the core science? Observable, measurable, testable, and repeatable, like you be able to see in the lab or something like that?
Yes.
All
As
right.
the basics.
The basics, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Do you think science should ever be a closed book?
No.
All right. To you, what's the difference between a belief and a knowing?
Knowing is something that I can measure, that I can prove, that has been tested. Most of the things that I know, when it comes to science, is from the past. A belief is greater than my ability to understand. It's faith.
Faith in?
Right.
All right. Would you agree with me like a knowing would be like there's two people that are talking to this interview right now? That'd be a knowing?
Correct.
All right. All right, here's where the subject goes off. And as I think the media kind
We'll
of...
see. Okay, go ahead.
I think the media is pushing it down, but it's been picking up steam from like 2015 to 2019. Then the media kind of started cracking down on stuff. But I didn't buy it at first. I thought it was kind of crazy. But I looked into it. It took me a second because I thought it was so crazy. And but I think you should look both sides of the argument. So I'm just gonna ask you, man, what shape do you think the Earth is? Do you believe it's flat? Do you believe it's an oblate spheroid like you've always been taught? Do you believe it's without form, or do you believe it's some other type of shape?
I believe it's a spear.
Sphere?
Circle.
Sort of like what
Right.
you've taught, like
Well, we've always been
it
taught.
rotates around and
Yes.
goes around the sun.
Correct.
All right, could I ask you why you believe that?
Taking the time to learn something else really wouldn't provide any value to my ability to enjoy my time on Earth.
All right.
So if I can't change the shape of the Earth. I don't believe that.
No, I don't believe
I
I
don't-
can. I don't believe. I don't believe I can
Yeah.
either.
So if it was a square, a triangle, if it was some ever evolving shape or something of that nature, me knowing that, what difference would it make to me? And what difference would it make to my life? And how much time would I spend on proving it to be one way, and what's the value added?
Well, if you could just, could I ask you if you could just know, like, and know for 100% fact, would you like to know at least?
No,
Yeah, it doesn't even matter to you whatsoever.
not at all.
All right, fair enough. All right, do you know anything about like fluid dynamics? Like, would you agree with me a liquid will take the shape of its container and level out 1,000,000% of the time in our reality?
Yes.
All right, they tell us the Earth's covered in 72% water. How could it be a sphere like you believe?
Gravity.
Gravity?
Right.
Okay, and
But based off of my limited understanding of science, gravity, how the Earth is, because you've got a core.
or,
And I've seen things, it's kind of like a bucket. For example, if I spin something fast enough, things will attract to
I'm
it.
talking about a like centrifugal
Correct.
force or whatever.
Right.
The one thing with that bucket that I'd just say is when you spin the bucket, the water is actually contained inside the bucket, though. It's not actually. It's
I
not.
was
There's,
just using it as an object.
I know. I understand
Right,
what you're saying, because a lot of people do come up with that and they say, oh, if I spin a bucket, and you're right, it
Right.
does stay in there. But like in all reality, I've never seen water in our reality like conform to the exterior of a shape, though. Have you?
No.
All right, fair. It's
Yeah,
honest answer.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I've never seen it.
No. I haven't.
All right. So, do you think we breathe the same stuff in space?
No idea.
No idea. All right. Well, actually, let me go back to the gravity thing. Because you said gravity, and some say mass attracts mass, so that's like the Earth holding in everything, you know. But the
Okay.
main thing what they take about gravity is it's things accelerate to the Earth at 9.8 meters per second squared. and that's what gravity is. They can measure how fast things fall
right.
towards the Earth or whatever.
Right.
That's like basically. Then the thing that people are starting to get at is just because things fall at a certain rate, it doesn't actually possibly prove the shape of anything. Hypothetically, I'm not saying
No, that's fine. Yeah.
All right. So back to So you said you're not sure what we breathe in outer space. They tell us space is a vacuum, and it's basically, it's not a perfect negative pressure system, but it's about as close as you can get to a perfect negative pressure system. And we live in a positive pressure system. So have you ever like to use like a pressurized deodorant canister or anything like that before?
Yes.
So if you puncture it, the air comes out, like that.
Right.
So it's like known in science and application to have two separate opposing pressure systems, you need a solid barrier. Would you be able to give me an example of a positive pressure system against a negative pressure system with no equilibrium or no solid barrier? Because they're telling us our atmosphere is adjacent to the vacuum of space with no solid barrier.
Right. I don't know.
So like I said, like how we were talking about science, you can have faith in what people are telling you, because like we can never see water behave
Right.
that way, and you can never see two opposing pressure systems. That's two facts of physics no one can show us.
But for me, you had asked a question about the government.
You trust them or whatever.
Right.
So I mean, yeah.
So when it comes to science and things of that nature, my choice
Is to believe it. Oh, yeah.
is, well, no, it's not about the belief. It's about, once I dig so deep into something, what's the value added? One thing I know for a fact is I'm going to die. I'm going to die. I don't know when it's going to happen, but I'm going to die. What am I going to do in that time before I die? Do I disprove a bunch of theories about things that I can't change, that I have no effect over? Or do I enjoy the things that I do understand?
That's perfect. You want to live your life the best way you
Right.
can. And I'm not here to argue about the subject.
We're just having a dialogue.
Yeah, because I
Right.
definitely don't want. I try to get there. I never want to argue with
Right.
someone and whatnot
Right.
or whatever. It's like you're entitled to your belief
Yeah.
or whatever, for sure.
Right.
And I'm entitled to
Right.
mine. And what it is, what it is.
Now, some people can't be happy unless they have a challenge. In my opinion,
Yeah.
it gives them purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Other people are, these are the facts, this is what I have, this is what I'm going to enjoy.
Let's see.
I don't know what gives different people value or different purpose, but I know people do strive to, find out mysteries.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I kind of
Depending on the mystery.
Yeah, I mean, I've been looking at this for a while or whatever, and at first, when I first heard it, I thought it was, like I said, really ridiculous or whatever. And I went to kind of go disprove it or whatever, and then I started looking, like you said, I looked both sides of the argument. And I got frustrated because I couldn't disprove it or whatever. And,
But in the time that you spend figuring this out,
Mhm.
what aren't you doing that you could be doing that may possibly bring you equal or more joy?
This actually brings me joy in actually going out and talking to people. I actually like doing stuff like this or whatever. So, I mean, this is kind of something I like to do actually,
But equal or more joy?
Equal and more joy. I still go out and, with my family and stuff and whatever,
Okay.
So, I mean, this is like the spare time hobby for me, and I just go out and I make this YouTube channel. That's all.
Makes
It's
sense.
like, people like go and play softball or something
Yeah.
like that. This is something I do. I go out and I interview people on the street or whatever.
Okay.
Do you know the difference between the eclipses, like solar eclipse and lunar eclipse?
General idea.
Can I go over them real quick with you?
Yeah, please.
Solar eclipse is basically when the moon blocks out the sun, and then a lunar eclipse. Would you be able to hold out both your hands like evenly for me? Let's say the Earth is in between your hands, and the sun's on one side and the moon's on the other. What you're taught is basically the sun is casting the Earth's shadow on the moon for the lunar eclipse.
Okay.
And it's because it's always a curved surface and it's
Okay.
always nighttime there. And we'd both agree it's a curved surface on the lunar
Correct.
eclipse. In this theory that I'm talking about, would you agree the sun's round?
Yes.
All right. This theory here,
I mean, that's based off of movies and
well, you're just
things
looking
of
at
that
it. We
nature.
can everything.
Yeah.
I'd agree everything's in the sky's round, right?
right. I
And-
mean,
yeah.
but the actual being close enough to see the real dimensions and shape,
Who knows?
yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's under all that flame? Or what have no idea.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't know.
I don't. Yeah. Yeah.
But in this theory I'm talking about, the sun's directly across the moon, and basically we don't think there's anything beneath the Earth. Like, we believe the sun and the moon are above the Earth, and it's actually the sun blocking out the moon. Do you think you'd be able to disprove that?
No.
No. That's honest. I mean, I can't disprove it.
Yeah,
Most
right,
people say
right.
that they can't disprove
Right.
it. All right. I'll just go over the quick facts of what people say prove gravity on the Earth. Basically, there's like only a few basically things that they say prove it. Have you ever heard of the North Star before?
Heard it? Yes. Yes.
Yeah, it's Polaris. It's right above the North Pole, basically. And it's the only stationary star up above us, and everything does perfect geocentric circles around Polaris. So do you think you'd be able to disprove it's possible that everything's actually spinning around us, causing the Coriolis effect in each part of the world? The moon would push the tides, the sun would contract the tides. They say if you shoot a bullet west, a long-range shot, the bullet will dip down when the sun's there. I say that's based off a false axiom, and if you shoot a bullet west at nighttime when the moon's there, it's going to bounce up. And like I said, the lunar eclipse is the sun blocking out the moon.
I don't know.
You don't know? That's a fair answer, man.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much the interview, and I really appreciate the interview. I
Okay,
thank you very much,
thanks.
Clifford. That was great. I appreciate it, man.
No